Hey everybody, I wanted to make a new vinyl finds video because I went to one of my record stores a couple days ago and picked up 5 new albums. So I will show them to you right now. First one I picked up is a record that I've never owned, but I'm kind of been on a mission lately to get a bunch of classic albums and get them and listen to them for the first time all the way through. So this is one. This is by The Doors. This is called Strange Days. This is their second album, released in 1967. And there's the back. And I never have owned this, and I've never actually listened to it all the way through. It's got 2 songs on here that I think everyone knows. People Are Strange and Love Me 2 Times were just kind of big songs, enough that even I know about them. And The Doors are a band for me that I like them, but I wouldn't say I love them. And I do own some of their other albums. I have Morrison Hotel, which is my favorite Doors album. And I also have, this is not coming out easily for some reason. There we go. And I also have LA Woman and I think The Soft Parade. And I like all those. Morrison Hotel is definitely my favorite Doors record. This one, though, this is an original pressing. This is on the gold/tan Elektra label. And this happens to be a Monarch pressing, for those of you that care about stampers and stuff like that. And this isn't, it's not in the best shape at all. I got it for $6, but it's in fine enough shape to listen to for the purpose that I want, which is just to listen to it all the way through one time and get a initial idea. And I did just that yesterday. And my initial take on this is that it's good, but it's not great to me upon first listen. I think it's very typical of the Doors in the sense that, at least the Doors in the sense of how I have always kind of listened to the Doors, and that, you know, there's some weird stuff on here where they're trying to be weird, but most of the time it's just kind of blues rock. And I like when it's just more straight ahead blues rock, and I like not so much when they got kind of psychedelic. But again, it's still great, and I know a lot of people consider this just to be one of the best albums of all time, so I got to listen to this a little bit more. But I should show you this too. This is the original inner sleeve there, cool picture, and the lyrics on the back. So anyway, this is The Doors, Strange Days, and got to listen to this some more because I do want to try to figure out why everyone loves it so much. Next, I finally picked this up, and I've been looking for this for a long time. I own this on record. I have 2 other copies of this, but I finally picked up this. This is an original stereo version of Bob Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited, which is one of my all-time favorite records. And this one's in very, very good shape. I know last time I made a video, I showed you that I picked up Bob Dylan's Freewheelin' album, which is kind of the same story as this in the sense of that it's on this label, it's on its Columbia, they call this the 2i 360 label. The difference though between that one and this one is the Freewheelin' album I bought was it was still clean, but this one is extremely clean. It sounds so good. I paid a little bit of money for this just because I wanted it for such a long time, so it was worth it to me. Really happy to add this to the collection. And for those of you that know about this record, you'll know that there is a very rare version of these early pressings that has a different take, that has a harmonica intro on the song from a Buick 6. This is not that rare version. This is just the normal mix, the normal stereo mix. I would like to someday get that version with the interesting harmonica intro, but they're very expensive, so I've never actually seen one in the wild. I've seen them online a lot. Anyway, really happy to pick this up because it's just a classic record. Speaking of classic records, this is another one this is an upgrade for me. This is Led Zeppelin 1. And I got this for a very good price. And this is a repress. It's not an original or a first pressing. And it has the original inner sleeve, which is cool. And you know it's a repress because it's got physical graffiti on there, which obviously came out a long time after Led Zeppelin 1, of course. And it's on this Atlantic label. And this one's very clean in the sense of it's got great sound, and it does have a little bit of surface noise, but it's hard to find very clean Led Zeppelin records, especially Led Zeppelin 1, just because whoever owned it before usually played it over and over again because the music is so fantastic. So I totally understand why they did play it, but it's hard to find it clean. And the copy I owned, or I still own it, but the other copy I have of this is totally noisy. It has just been played to death. This one is a much better sounding quality version of it, and yeah, just happy to get it and put it with my collection. Okay, and these last two records I got are by the same band. This is called Time Loves a Hero, and it's by the band Little Feat. And I don't know much about Little Feat. I've just been, a lot of people have recommended that I listen to them because they are a great band. And what I've heard, I do like. The other album I've owned before this, and I still have it, I don't know why I said I own it now currently. It's Little Feat, Feats Don't Fail Me Now, which I like a whole lot. It's very good. This one is a little bit more kind of experimental. It's got like a little bit of like jazz rock fusion thing going on with it. I don't love that, I must say, but I've only listened to it once, listened to it yesterday, just one time through, and I didn't really give it like a really proper listen, you know. It was just kind of on while I was doing other stuff. And it's on that Warner Brothers label. But I got to give it some more time to listen to. I did do a little bit of reading about it, of what other people have said, and it's definitely not considered one of the best Little Feat albums. It's kind of like their, I think, known as their experimental record. But, you know, I got it for a good price, and I'm sure there's going to be something on here that I'll appreciate. So I just need to listen to it a little bit more. So that's Little Feat, Time Loves a Hero. And then this is the last record I got. This is another Little Feat album. This one's called Down on the Farm, and this one I actually liked a whole lot. I listened to this yesterday as well, and this one just stuck with me a lot more than the other one. I will say, though, the production on this is very slick, and from what I read online, a lot of people don't like that about this. At times, this kind of has like a Steely Dan vibe to it, like later Steely Dan, and I love Steely Dan, so I think maybe a lot of people who like Little Feat kind of want that like more rough around the edges, kind of southern rock kind of vibe. And this definitely does not have that. This is definitely more later 70s, kind of clean California studio sound to it. And I do understand why. If that's not what you're expecting, then you're not going to like that. But there's the back. I got to say, though, side one of this record is just so great. I liked every single song. My favorite ones were Kokomo and B1 Now. Those two songs really stuck out to me. And Kokomo, obviously, it's not the Beach Boy Kokomo. This is a different Kokomo. But this is on the Warner Brothers label, and this is the inner sleeve. There's Lowell George. And Lowell George is like essentially the leader of Little Feat. And this is actually the last album that he's on, because he actually passed away before this album was even released. He died of a heart attack. He was a heavy, like, kind of drinker and drug user, so just kind of led a rough life. But anyway, this is his last record that he made with Little Feat, and it's on this Warner Brothers label, which is the later label. And yeah, I do like this record, and it gets a lot of flack online from other people, like I told you before, just earlier, but I don't quite get that in the sense of, I will say this. Something just came to my mind. When I watch a lot of other people's YouTube videos, you know, records they find and stuff, a lot of the younger people, and I would put myself in that category as well, even though I'm in my mid-30s now, younger people as far as people that didn't grow up with this music at the time, they weren't alive. Like, I wasn't alive when this record came out. This came out in 1979. I was born in 1983. So I wasn't even alive when this came out. So for me, I have a totally different take on this record. So I'm just discovering it now for the first time. So I'm listening to it with a totally clean set of ears, and I don't have any preconceived notions about this or even the band Little Feat, right? I think a lot of people who grew up with this, and when this came out, they'd already heard all the great Little Feat albums, so they were expecting something amazing. It's kind of like, I equate this to like the new Paul McCartney album, Egypt Station, right? I well, I wasn't born obviously during the Beatles time or even Paul's solo time. I did have a lot of time to listen to all Paul's solo stuff, and it's all in my head. So when Egypt Station came out, I had all these preconceived ideas about what a Paul McCartney album should be and how the song should sound and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really love Egypt Station, I gotta say. But a lot of the younger people, even younger than me, or people who just got into the Beatles and Paul McCartney, they liked it a whole lot because to them, I think it was just a new record. They're listening to new music, and they could just give a totally unbiased opinion of the album, and just based on the album itself, which I think is fantastic and great. And I think a lot of times, or not a lot of times, what I'm trying to do now is to approach albums with that mentality. It's almost impossible sometimes, but I think in the end, it'll make it so I'll enjoy the music a lot more and give things a chance. Because, for example, like the Doors record that I just got, this Doors Strange Days, I've seen this album in stores, I don't know, probably 100 times when I go record shopping. I'll see this record, and I never, ever picked it up. Because I have all these preconceived ideas about the Doors, and a lot, especially the Doors' earlier music, kind of psychedelic stuff. And I just don't really, it's not my thing, you know? But at the same time, this is such a classic record, and there's got to be something that's good about it because people like it. So I'm just taking it upon myself to try to open up my mind and try to give things a chance more, because there's got to be something good about this, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. So that's like my new mentality as far as listening to these albums. And on top of that, the great thing about vinyl is that you can find so many of these records, these classic records, for just so cheap. I mean, I got this for $2. I think that's what I got this for. And this is totally worth $2 to me because I already like about 5 songs on here. So it's excellent. That's the cool thing about records. And just music in general, I suppose, because CDs are cheap now too as well. But records are just a little different because there's such a collectability about the records. So just so many different aspects to the whole collecting of records and discovering new music and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's a little bit of a rant, but it just came into my head, so I thought I wanted to share that with all of you. So this is the end here of my new Vinyl Finds video for today, and I'd love to hear what all of you have to say. For example, I would love to hear what any of you have to say about Strange Days. Do you like it? Do you love it? Is it your favorite Doors album? Are there specific songs I should listen to on here that you think I would like? Also, if you think there's a better pressing out there, that maybe the one I have right here, this Monarch on the gold electro label, isn't the best one. So point me in the right direction of a better pressing. I'd be happy to try to find that. Anyway, that's it for now, and yeah, keep collecting records. I know I will. Talk to you later.